Alright, let's address the elephant in the room that most crypto content completely ignores. Financial institutions aren't avoiding blockchain because they don't understand it. They're avoiding it because regulatory frameworks make it nearly impossible to deploy without risking massive legal exposure. Think about what happens when a traditional bank wants to tokenize corporate bonds or investment funds. They immediately run into jurisdictional nightmares. Different countries have different securities laws, different investor qualification requirements, different compliance obligations. The complexity becomes suffocating, and here's where it gets really messy. Most blockchain tokens operate without any built-in compliance mechanisms. You can't program a standard ERC20 token to automatically verify that the buyer is an accredited investor in their jurisdiction. You can't automatically enforce transfer restrictions based on regulatory requirements. You can't link on-chain ownership to verified real-world identities without building massive custom infrastructure. This compliance gap has been the silent killer of institutional blockchain adoption. Banks look at the technology and see efficiency gains, reduced settlement times, and operational cost savings. Then their legal teams step in and shut everything down because the regulatory risk is unmanageable. Hedera just changed that equation completely. They integrated the ERC3643 token standard, also known as TRX, which stands for Token for Regulated Exchange. And this isn't just another technical specification. This is purpose-built infrastructure designed specifically to solve the compliance problem that's been blocking institutional adoption. So, what makes ERC3643 different from every other token standard you've heard about? The secret is in how it handles identity and compliance at the protocol level. Every single token minted under ERC3643 gets linked to verified investor identities through KYC and KYB processes. Know your customer for individuals, and know your business for corporate entities. But it goes deeper than basic identity verification. The standard embeds compliance rules directly into the token's smart contract logic. That means the token itself enforces who can own it, who can trade it, and under what conditions transfers are permitted, based on the specific regulatory requirements of each jurisdiction. Let me paint you a picture of how this works in practice. Imagine a European investment firm wants to tokenize a corporate bond offering. They need to ensure that only qualified investors from approved jurisdictions can purchase and hold these tokens. With ERC3643, those rules get programmed directly into the token. An investor in Germany goes through identity verification. Their wallet gets cryptographically linked to their verified credentials. When they attempt to purchase the tokenized bond, the smart contract automatically checks their eligibility against the embedded compliance rules. If they qualify, the transfer executes. If they don't, it rejects instantly. Now here's the powerful part. When that same investor wants to sell their position to someone in France, the smart contract automatically verifies that the French buyer also meets all regulatory requirements before allowing the transfer. No manual checks, no intermediary approvals, no multi-day settlement delays. Compliance happens automatically, on-chain, in real time. This is the breakthrough that traditional finance has been desperately waiting for. It means companies can issue tokens that automatically follow local laws without building separate systems for every single market they operate in. Quick pause here. If you're starting to understand why this matters for the future of institutional crypto adoption, do me a favor and smash that like button right now. And if you want to stay ahead of developments like this before they become mainstream news, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. We're tracking the infrastructure builds that will define the next bull cycle. Alright. Let's keep going. Now let's zoom out and understand why Hedera specifically is making this move and what it signals about their broader strategy. Hedera already supported ERC1400, which is a token standard primarily used in the United States for regulated securities offerings. That gave them a foothold in domestic tokenization use cases, but ERC1400 has limitations when you're dealing with cross-border transactions or global investor base. By integrating ERC3643, Hedera just unlocked international and multi-jurisdictional tokenization capabilities. Issuers now have choice. They can use ERC1400 for straightforward domestic offerings where U.S. regulations apply, or they can deploy ERC3643 when they need global compliance coverage and cross-border transfer capabilities. This dual-standard approach is, honestly, strategic genius. It positions Hedera as the go-to infrastructure for any financial institution exploring tokenization, no matter their geographic scope or regulatory requirement. Now, here's where the Asset Tokenization Studio comes into play. This is Hedera's open-source platform that, provides the complete toolkit for creating and managing tokenized versions of traditional financial instruments. We're talking bonds, equities, funds, real estate. Pretty much everything. The studio includes automated investor verification, programmable payment distributions for bond coupons or dividend payments, and administrative controls that let issuers pause transactions or update compliance rules when regulations change. Everything operates on-chain, which means, drastically reduced paperwork, minimized operational risks, faster settlement times, and transparent audit trails. For institutions drowning in back-office complexity and settlement delays, this represents a massive operational improvement. Dr. Sabrina Tachjian, who leads financial markets for the Asia-Pacific region at the Hedera Foundation, really nailed it when she said this integration reflects where the market is headed, toward borderless, customizable, and standards-based tokenization that works across all regulatory frameworks and jurisdictions. So, let's talk about the actual market opportunity we're discussing here. According to multiple industry reports, the total addressable market for real-world asset tokenization sits somewhere between $10 and $16 trillion. Yeah, read that again. Trillion, with a T. That includes tokenized bonds, equities, investment funds, real estate, commodities, intellectual property, basically, everything that currently exists in traditional financial markets but could benefit from blockchain-based settlement, fractional ownership, and 24/7 trading capability. So, governments and major financial institutions are, actively exploring these use cases right now. But here's the thing. They need infrastructure that satisfies two critical requirements: technical efficiency and regulatory compliance. Most blockchain platforms totally nail the first requirement, but they completely fail the second. Hedera's integration of ERC-3643, developed by Tokeny, who leads the standardization efforts in regulated tokenization, directly addresses both requirements simultaneously. This isn't theoretical. This is production-ready infrastructure that institutions can deploy today without building custom compliance systems from scratch. And here's what makes this particularly interesting. Tokeny has been working extensively on blockchain interoperability and cross-platform compatibility. That means tokens issued under ERC-3643 on Hedera could potentially interact with other compliant blockchains using the same standard. We're talking about genuine interoperability for regulated digital assets. So there you have it, crypto fam. Hedera just positioned itself at the exact intersection of institutional demand, regulatory compliance, and technical capability. While other blockchains chase retail hype cycles, Hedera is quietly building the infrastructure that will onboard trillions in traditional finance assets. Is this the blockchain that becomes the backbone of tokenized securities? Time will tell, but the pieces are falling into place, and institutions are paying very close attention. If this analysis opened your eyes to what's really happening in institutional blockchain adoption, show some love by dropping a like on this video. Seriously, it helps more people discover this content. And subscribe to TJ Crypto World if you want to catch these infrastructure developments before they become obvious. I've also got a breakdown coming on 3 other enterprise blockchains positioning for institutional adoption in 2025. You definitely don't want to miss that analysis. Link is popping up on your screen right now. Until next time, stay sharp, stay informed, and remember, the smartest money doesn't follow hype, it follows infrastructure. This is TJ, signing off. Let's build wealth together.